You're listening to the Get Peeled podcast, a space for life enthusiasts to get inspired, learn through others about fitness, business, relationships, and life itself. I'm your host, Hannah Eden, a fitness entrepreneur that has an obsession with sweating and a burning desire to share and inspire others with the lessons I've learned through fitness. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Get Peeled podcast. Today is a very, very special episode for me. If you didn't know what my name is, by the way, I'm Hannah Eden. And today I have two very important ladies that are sat by the side of me. I have Becky and Emily. Now, maybe you guys are very familiar with who they are, but I always like to try and give a brief little intro to whoever I'm having a conversation with. So we'll start with Becky, alphabetical order. I thought I got that wrong, but I'm like, shit. Becky, and we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
We met each other through the gym, through PumpFit Club. Becky came as a member, was an incredible athlete. We watched her blossom and bloom and evolve into this very strong, confident woman. She got a lot of certifications, continued to try and further her education, started coaching elsewhere, and then we dragged her back and was like, please come do this for us. You're amazing. This is so natural for you. And she has since built an empire that we'll get into. Then we've got Emily over here, which is one of the most inspiring mums. By the way, they're both mums, okay? I'm not sure if you're watching. If you're not, you should, because they both motivate and inspire me every single day. But Emily is originally from California, and we'll get into that story soon. But it's a pretty cool, interesting journey to how we met. I think Emily knew about us a while ago, manifested a lot, had a job transfer with her husband, and ended up just on a whim giving it a go, came to audition, and we were like, hot damn, this girl needs to be on this team immediately. Since we have all come together, we were all working at PumpFit. Unfortunately, as a lot of you guys know, PumpFit did close, but I want to connect with these ladies, and I want you to get to know them because they're incredible trainers and also really, really good friends that have become family. That was a long intro. So with no further ado, welcome, ladies. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, as normal, we always touch on subjects. This is like family, right? So it's a very comfortable feeling to be here. So I hope that we can just have a conversation, maybe even forget that the camera's there and get to know each other on a far deeper level.
Sounds great.
You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Why don't we start with, let's start personal, so they can get to know you and then understand how you evolved to who you are today, right? So why don't we start with Becky and tell us how you got into fitness and that whole transition phase from being a member to wanting to do this as a career.
Sure. When I actually came to PumpFit, I was already getting my personal trainer certification, and I had stopped going to the gym that I had been training at because I was super burnt out there, and I just was not finding happiness there anymore. So I had zero gym for like 3 months, and one of my good friends that went to the old gym with me was like, you have to come try this. You're going to love it. And I remember walking in the door, you and Paulo were both behind the desk. I had no idea who you guys were. I mean, I remember seeing the gym. My hair salon used to be next door when you guys were in the process of opening. But anyway, you guys were like, take it slow. It's your first day. And
like, slow down.
And they were like, don't worry. It's going to, be a lot. And like, I honestly came in and crushed.
That's going to be such a good thing.
You did. No, but I remember Paulo being like, what? Like,
who is this?
I know, it was really cool. And I was like, really?
But to that point, what did that make you feel when someone else was able to see and recognize your ability?
It felt amazing because I was in kind of a slump at that point. Like, I had not been working out like I wanted to. I was just focused on the certification. And I had a lot going on in my personal life.
I was going to say that, you don't have to go into detail at all, but from a personal standpoint, where were you in your life at that point?
In a divorce.
Hey, that's a really valuable thing to say. Yeah, did you use fitness as a tool?
I used fitness as a tool for sure. I think I had just moved out into my own place and was in the final stages of the actual divorce. And like I said, I just felt really shitty. And I didn't have my gym to work at. So when I came there, and you guys had such an amazing vibe and so much energy, and Paula was like, you fucking crushed that. I was like, this is my place. Like, I love it. And then I was there 6 days a week. Like, I signed on immediately, and I didn't stop coming. I was amazing. Like 5 to 6 days a week. And I did it for my happiness. which is really cool because I just had a friend who posted saying that I did the same thing for him.
That's awesome.
And that's what you guys did for me. Like, you provided a space for me to grow as a trainer too, and to learn so much. It's where I met Sam. So he trained me for my first kettlebell certification.
I remember that.
Yep.
I remember the photos. Like it's just so it seems like a lifetime ago. It really does.
Yeah, it was awesome. So like, I've done a lot of growth at PumpFit. You guys introduced me to Animal Flow. But yeah, fitness is, for me, it started out as just a way to feel good, to get the endorphins pumping, to build confidence in myself, and just feel better when I woke up every day and have something to look forward to.
That's
so,
amazing.
Here I am.
That's amazing. And we'll go, I have a lot to I have like pins that I'm putting. Let's hope that my fucking brain doesn't forget them, which it will. But I have pins that I just put into that. And I want to talk a little bit about Emily and as to why she got into fitness, who she is as a human being, and what kind of sparked you to take fitness as a career.
So fitness was definitely not my first career. I was actually in investment banking, of all things, and just super unfulfilled, like running the rat race every day, super unfulfilled, not happy at all. So when I found out I was pregnant with twins, I decided to take some time off. I had a really rough pregnancy, so I decided to take some time off and figure out what I wanted to do. So when I finally decided to start working again, I was given, which I know like not everybody is given this gift of like being able to decide what they want to do. And I had this like beautiful gift in front of me, like what do you know, I could choose. And similar to what Becky said, like I was in a weird space at that point in my life. I had just lost both my parents and I had just had twins. So I was kind of like, everything was out of control. And for me, fitness and trying to find my postpartum self was my spot where I could control and like find happiness and find control in my life. So it was really through that journey that I decided to become a trainer and go from there. So yeah, I started working out in California. I was out in California at that point. We had moved from Florida to California. And then when we moved back to Florida, I was kind of in a weird space in between different gyms. And then I eventually saw Paulo. I didn't even know you guys were in Florida, to be honest. I followed you. I had followed you guys for a long time, all the way back in Cali. I used to look up YouTube videos of you to get inspirations for the workouts that I was coaching out in Cali. Cool, and so then I saw Paulo post like, hey, we're looking for trainers. I'm like, I wonder where these guys are located. And I look it up and I'm like, oh fuck, they're in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, no way. So I was telling my husband, I'm like, oh, how cool would that be? And he's like, you should go try out. And I'm like, they probably got trainers out the door. Like, yeah, right. That's ridiculous. And he's like, what have you got to lose? And I'm like, all right, I guess that's true. What have I got to lose? So I emailed Paulo and he immediately emailed me back. And I almost shit my pants. And
so we used to do, I have to say, right, we used to do these auditions, which now I think about it is so much pressure. But
so much pressure.
It is
shaking.
It is.
Shaking.
But I think it's an important thing to do as a trainer, right? Like I can bring anyone into an office and you can sit behind a computer desk and I can get to know you, but I have no idea who you are on the mic.
Yeah.
And I use the mic. Maybe I've become more of that person now, but at the beginning it was like, this is an opportunity to recreate a new identity and like leave the other person that I thought of at the door and redefine myself when I'm coaching. Mm-hmm. So maybe not so much, but I'm a lot louder when I'm on the mic. So I wanted to see how people reacted when they had control of a room and what they could do with that. So I think it was very nerve-wracking, but it made the people that were fantastic coaches shine, and those that maybe needed a little bit more work just weren't ready for it. And we had a very high expectation for coaches, and which is, I want to say to your point, that you said, oh, they probably have coaches out the door. If you're in that space where Emily was, don't hesitate, go. Because as a gym owner, it is so hard to find good coaches. You can find a great coach, horrible human being. You can find a great human being, horrible coach. To be able to find something that is both, and that was something that was extremely important to Paulo and I, which was, I think I've said it to everyone that's ever come to the team, like, I want to be able to give you my house key and know that you got my back, right? My home, my like family kind of vibe. No one works against each other, no drama here. We're all here to help each other. Eric Leha, Primal Soldier, said this: if all ships are sailing, we're all good, right? It's when one starts to capsize that there could be a problem. But that never really happened because it was mutual understanding that we all wanted to elevate each other as well as PumpFit, right? And so that's huge. So I think it's a big learning lesson there.
For real.
Yeah.
I remember her audition to a T. Also,
Dumbbell snatches.
like dumbbell snatches. She said less than 10 words, and I looked over at you, and I was like, "She's hired."
This is it. We're like,
I was like, send them all away.
Yep.
She's the one.
It was like this cool vibe, but commanded the room in an authoritative space, but still extremely inviting and approachable.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
which
a
is
lot,
huge.
guys. I appreciate that.
For real.
Yeah, and I want to give us props and anyone that has ever stepped into the door of PumpFit, because as a coach, right? Because we did have a very hard training process that we put everyone through before they could get onto the floor on their own. And most people quit during that stage, right? And to me, now that this is all said and done, yeah, the training was important for the technical cues and X, Y, and Z, and making sure that we kind of aligned as far as communication when we're trying to communicate what we wanted our members to do. But more than that, it showed work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you weren't paid as much. Emily had to drive halfway across the state to get there. It's 6 a.m. We tried everyone at every hour of the day just to see if they would see it through and like literally like hold on for dear life until the end. I mean, it was pretty heavy. I think it was like 15 to 20 hours of.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, because you were a little different.
Because I was already coaching, and
Yeah.
I was cute.
And you had been at PumpFit,
I
eating,
streamlined.
breathing. Yeah, you went in pretty smooth. But
Yeah.
do you remember how many hours it was?
It was a lot. It was a lot of training hours, but then I remember there were some hiccups with people who had to leave town, and so I wasn't quite done yet. And Paul was like, "You're ready, go."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
And again, I don't think it was necessarily
Yeah.
about what we were putting into that training, right? It was just more about like understanding who this person is.
Yeah.
Are they moldable? Are they going to be a sponge and absorb, or are they going to come in and like, I got this kind of shit, you
Yeah.
know? So it's funny now that it's done, man. But very sad chapter to close, and maybe we talk about that briefly and not crying. And I have to
Where's
say,
Becky's laugh?
yeah, right. Bring it out, please. Go, go, go. I will never, ever, ever forget that moment in that room.
Yeah.
God damn, it was so emotional. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my career so far. I'm gonna totally cry because I've touched on this before. Because I knew that Paulo and I were gonna be alright. Right? We were gonna get over it. We're gonna move on, and we were gonna keep ourselves busy and keep pushing forward. But I understood and saw what this space did for you guys, you know, and for our community, and for like so many people in Fort Lauderdale. So that was a really hard thing to do, because I think that a lot of people were also caught off guard, right? It was like, out of every gym in Fort Lauderdale, why are you guys closing? And I hope that over time, that now that we've had a little bit of time to heal, like it hurt, but I'm so grateful that we did that, because both of you have bloomed and blossomed and like taken this next step of evolution to create your own thing. And that is something that I wish I had the support system for prior to me going into this. And so that's something that ticks me, right? That gets me going. It's like elevating someone enough so that they can see their own potential, that they grab it by the fucking throat and take it and make it into something. And we touched on it slightly before, but when I came to PumpFit, that was all in anger because I wanted to prove everyone wrong. No one had my back. Like, that's so not good. That's so like, it's going to burn out, and it's really immature, right? To be operating off of anger. It's a great place to be able to use that in certain spaces, but if it's a daily thing, you just become a very angry individual. So I want to move on to talk about how, and if you don't know, Emily is my girl when it comes to pre and postnatal training, because I have not had a baby. I've got 2 fur children. I like to believe to be a practitioner and not tell someone what to do if I don't understand what the heck is going on. I'm not educated in that realm as of yet. So Emily is my go-to. If anyone ever comes in with, hey, I'm pregnant, can you help me with this? I'm like, Emily can help you with everything. So we should talk about how you've evolved your home gym and made it your thing.
Yeah.
Becky is like the animal flow specialist around here, actually the regional leader for Florida, or is it the Southeast region?
Southeast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Southeast region, and has now started her own thing, which is my favorite place to be early in the morning, which is Sunrise Kettlebell Club. So yeah, take it away, ladies. Tell us a little bit about both. You want to rock, paper, scissors, see who goes first?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, is it 1, 2, 3? I thought it was 1, 2, 3.
1, 2,
Oh,
3.
Rock,
see,
paper,
I'm
scissors,
clearly
shoot. Okay, ready?
I'm clearly behind the times.
Rock.
Wait, stop.
Here we go. Everyone stop. Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Boom.
Boom. Do you want to go first, or would you like to hand it off?
You can go first, Bex. Go first.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. Sunrise Kettlebell Club?
Just the after PumpFit close where you were at personally and how it got
God.
to somewhere else.
Well, first of all, I cried for a week straight. I think I cried in my sleep even. I woke up crying, I went to sleep crying. Like, that was one of the saddest things I've ever experienced in my life, because that was home. I mean, I lived at PumpFit.
Yeah. And be as transparent as you want, but like, what did you feel about the decision that we made at that point when it was so raw and so new?
Honestly, I just felt a lot of sadness. And I think I was like, where the fuck am I going next? Like, what am I doing? I don't want to ever go back to it. I knew that I didn't want to go back to another gym. I had talked to a few gyms prior to you guys even closing down.
Oh yeah, because you were going to try and like keep expanding out.
Yep, I was just going to try and do some kettlebell workshops, expand the animal flow thing. And then I was just like, I never want to work in a gym again, and I still don't.
Sorry, gym owners.
Sorry. So I knew that I was just like super heartbroken. Felt like I'd gone through another divorce without losing the people.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that I still had the community out there. And just like, what the fuck is next? And I was like, I'm a single mom. I just lost 80% of my income basically through private clients, through the gym, and just like everybody else, you know, everywhere around us. It wasn't just about me, but like, it was about me. And then, I was like, I've got animal flow. And I was like, I'll just start doing virtual animal flow. People can't buy fitness equipment right now. They don't need it. They just show up, and I start doing virtual animal flow classes. And I was doing 2 classes a week, 2 hours a week, and I was crushing it.
And honestly, full disclosure, making more money than you did coaching and living at the gym. And as much as that was like your livelihood and your lifestyle, but the financial reward from putting the work in at PumpFit and then having the initiative to take action, because you could have stayed in bed and cried and been like, fuck this up, I quit, I'm going to go do something else.
I don't do that.
And you don't do that.
I'm like, I don't do that. I cry, but I also work while I'm crying. Like, I was probably like writing stuff and crying and like, but I'll tell you,
Dear
like,
diary.
the 2 communities that I grew and that became my family through that, like my animal flow community, I still, and you guys know I still love you so much, even though I don't do virtual flow anymore. One's coming soon, I promise. My animal flow community, same people showed up every week after week. We got to know each other. We drank champagne together. We sang happy birthday to each other. And like, I have chills. I love those humans. I love those animals so much. And I'm still in touch with all of them, even though we're not flowing, like we're in constant contact. And then the same, like with kettlebells, like when the parks finally opened up and you were allowed to actually be present in a public park, which was June a year ago, I remembered the rooftop space. It's a new garage in Fort Lauderdale, and it had just recently opened up pre-pandemic. And I remembered there was a turf up there. So I took Dominic, and I was like...
By the way, Dominic is Becky's baby boy. He's not a baby anymore at all.
He's my big boy.
He's your dude.
And he dabs a lot.
Yeah, I love that. How old is Dom?
8.5.
Dom Cakes.
Dom Cakes. He's Dom Cakes. So I was like, let's get some fresh air. We played on our street through the whole pandemic. We don't have grass. We live in a condo at the beach, and it's like we skateboarded on our streets, which were really quiet. And I was like, we need grass. We need greenery. And we couldn't get on the beaches yet either. So we found that space, and we started just going there to play, to do cartwheels and run and just like be outside. And then I started holding the pop-up kettlebell classes up there. And then the people that were coming initially were people that had been at PumpFit, and then a couple of people through IG who had found me through, like, had done a few flow classes locally through IG or through Zoom. What is it? Zoom.
Something like that.
Like, I don't remember anymore. I don't use it anymore.
One of those things.
Yeah, so I just started inviting people. And I was like, I need accountability to pick up kettlebells again. I've been doing body weight for months, but I haven't touched kettlebells in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Just because of like the shock of everything.
Yeah.
And homeschooling kids and running a business and like all the other things. So I was like, I picked like a handful of the original members, And I was just like, y'all meet me at 6 a.m. on these days. I don't really have to coach you. We can talk coaching cues when you need them, when you have questions, but like, I'm not here to coach you. We just showed up and I was like, what do you want to do today? And she's like, I want to do goblet squats. And I'm like, cool. Who wants, like, somebody else fix something? And then I would program it really quick and then we would just work out. And then it just
continued to evolve.
It kept growing.
It's amazing.
It kept growing, and it's this amazing.
And I do want to
community.
make a point about that. The fact that all of the members didn't just shift. Well, some of them did. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of them bought the equipment that when we closed the gym, and that's a huge compliment to all of you guys, and to Paulo and to myself, that no one could hack it at any other gym, because we did have a very specific style of training. It was very general, but we had a standard of training and expectations as far as coaches, right? And you go to a lot of gyms and the coaching is not what's the priority for the gym owners, and it shows. And half of our, I think actually, I would be confident with saying that 90% of our members, if they had been a long-term member at PumpFit, are better at kettlebell work than majority of trainers in every single gym.
So true.
Absolutely.
And that, I mean that in the most humble way.
Yeah.
But listening to the kettlebell class now, when we do stuff and we do popcorn flows, right? And people just automatically, like, I'm thinking of J-Rock right now, right? Like, being able to listen so much, like, holy shit, you actually listen to what all the coaches are saying, and it's like acute, feet hit, hands hit, karate chop, hinge this, do this. It's like, that technique was so embedded in their brain that then they were able to put it in their toolbox, take it out, and continue doing it after the gym closed, right?
Exactly.
Which is a huge compliment to us. And not just kettlebell crew, but all the girls that go down to the beach, they still do that and don't go to the gyms, meeting at each other's house, still following the online programming. And so kudos to all of you guys, you know?
Yeah.
For real. What about you, Em?
When everything hit and we shut down, that was tough. That was really tough. For me personally, I mean, in addition to just, you know, the sadness, I was still fairly new to the crew. And so I felt like when I had finally joined you guys, for me, it was like this, like, holy fuck, like, you're at this new level now. Like, wow, like, you're surrounded by, like, all these amazing people in the fitness community. Like, you need to just absorb and learn and start elevating yourself. So when everything stopped, it was like, but now what? I'm like, all these other people, like, they have thousands of followers and they're already established in animal flow or, you know, the fitness industry and all this kind of stuff. What the hell are you gonna do? Nobody's like, you're just gonna go back to coaching group classes. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, so it was a huge self-reflective period for me. Cause I was like, no, I don't want to, kind of to what you were just saying. I'm like, PumpFit was such this like amazing place with very high standards. I'm like, I can't go back to coaching group classes at some random ass gym again. Like, I won't do that. I cannot do that. So it was, you know, it was months of processing and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, you know, I do think I'm so fortunate to be surrounded by all of you guys who are always evolving and thinking of the next thing and how can we do this and what can we do next and where can we go next, which was huge inspiration for me. Luckily for me, during COVID, lots of people were getting freaky. So my my prenatal
Business is booming.
my prenatal postpartum business grew quite a bit, which was awesome. So I've been able to, you know, use that a lot. And I never, you know, I mean, I had a few clients when we were at PumpFit, but group classes was definitely the majority of my time. Personal training was kind of on the side. I never saw myself going full on into personal training, but I'm actually loving it. I'm loving it. And much to like what Becky said and you said as well, I do everything from home now. I don't have to run around like a chicken with my head cut off.
And as a mom, I'm sure that's so efficient.
Yes, my boys can be home while I'm coaching. I don't have to drag them all over the place. So that's been really good. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of evolved the prenatal postpartum and then just other personal training and programs and stuff like that. And it's worked out.
But let's talk about the pre and post training, right? And I also want to go into diet culture, where I think you're really, you've found your space, right? And this is now where you're using your voice, which I think is incredible. But let's go back to the pregnancy, because I got to give you props, man. And it's got nothing to do, maybe it does, but it's got I'm not saying this because I want to say this, but there's a lot of people that are listening that don't watch. This chick had twins. How much weight did you gain when you were pregnant?
I gained 100 pounds when I was pregnant.
She now has an 8-pack. She doesn't diet.
We call it a turtle shell.
She has a turtle shell and doesn't diet, women, okay? It is. It's incredible. And let's talk a little bit about your pregnancy, man.
Really quick, along the lines of turtle shells. When you would be like working out in PumpFit and Paulo and I would be working in the back office or whatever, and he'd be like, Bells, come look at the camera. He'd be like, check out that turtle shell.
Absolutely ripped.
Oh, man, how do we do that?
Yeah, incredible. Absolutely amazing. And still likes wine. Her husband's nickname is the Smoke Lord, for fuck's sake.
Gotta eat,
This
drink
guy
wine.
loves to smoke some meat. So let's talk about, your pregnancy and why you feel so strongly about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I went through a really tough pregnancy. Twin pregnancy, you're already automatically labeled high risk. And some people go through it just fine. Their bodies react well. They're, have energy. They don't have a lot of, symptoms. That was not me at all. I had a very tough pregnancy. Every freaking symptom in the book. Like, I didn't even know pregnancy arthritis was a thing, but apparently it is, and I got it. Like, everything just hurt. And then I gained a ton of weight, which I wasn't used to. I'm 5'1", and I think I was about 205 pounds once I went into labor, which was about, a significant weight gain for me. So I just was uncomfortable. I was on bed rest for most of my pregnancy. So any muscle and anything that I had before, because I did like to work out pre-pregnancy, everything was gone. So once the boys came early and I had to have a C-section, core was destroyed. And so here I was, like, with twins, you're a newborn mom, you're trying to figure everything out, and my body was, to me, unrecognizable. Like, I was a lot heavier than I was used to being. I couldn't move without being in pain or walk without having to gasp for air, like breathe heavy and all this stuff. But there was no guidance. It was just like, go home and ease back into it. And it's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, I don't know what that means at all. So, I kept looking for trainers, people that could help give guidance on how to restore my abs, how to restore strength, how to get back into things safely. And there was just no guidance at all. So that once I started, working out on my own and trying new things on my own and just doing research and stuff, it became a passion of mine. I think that there's a lack of awareness in what is, in helping women recover from abdominal surgeries, whether it's C-section or otherwise. So yeah, it became a big passion of mine that way. I hope that I can help women feel stronger, quicker, and like safer, and make them feel their best postpartum self, without having to look up crap on YouTube and just wonder if it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say that I have a lot of respect for that, because from having the gym for 5 years, right, a lot of the girls that came through the door had multiple children while they were inside of PumpFit's community. And hearing, obviously I'm not a doctor, obviously I've never been pregnant, I have no idea what it feels like. I've never really studied that whole section of fitness, and I think it's a very, very specialized space. And knowledge is king, right, which I didn't have. And I'm like, shit, man. And I don't want to give the wrong advice, because for liability reasons, that's not the right thing to do either. So whenever everyone would come in, I'd be like, well, what did your doctor say? And to hear so much, there was nothing that was like consistent, you know? It was like every doctor was different, and like significantly different. Like, don't load on the front, you can't be upside down, don't lay on your back. Oh no, you can go upside down, you can load until the last month. It's like, whoa. Like, I don't know what's right or wrong. So I used to say, you should listen to your doctor, but just remember that you know your body more than anyone, right? So to be able to have someone even now, like, even though PumpFit's not a lot around anymore, I think if anyone is pregnant, you need to make sure that you find the right trainer. And I'm pretty decent at what I do. I still don't feel like I'm confident enough to be able to take someone through their entire pregnancy as a personal trainer from the beginning until the end. And so if anyone is your trainer and they're like, oh yeah, I can do pregnancy too, make sure that they know what they're doing, Because I think that what you do during a pregnancy for movement is critical to your recovery, I'm sure, as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Critical to the birthing process, to recovery, to pelvic floor health, you name it. It plays a big role. It plays a big role.
So I think that fitness for you helped you find yourself again in a really dark space from, having these twins, unrecognizing your body. But you touched on it earlier, and we don't really need to go too much into detail, because I know it's like a very difficult conversation, but during that time, you've also lost your parents, right?
Yeah.
You're in a very, very dark place. Both of you, and I will say this as well for Becky, because I'll never forget, like, looking at the Becky that came in the door as a member and looking at this chick now is a different person. And I mean that from, like, body language, the way your eye contact, like the way that you hold yourself, the clothes that you wear. Fitness changed your life. Fitness made you see yourself and love yourself, right? And like have this newfound confidence to be able to take the action to do all the things that you've done. That's important, and that's something that I think we should touch on and have as our last conversation here. But how fitness changed the way that you were able to see yourself, because the only difference between us and someone else that is not where they want to be if they're in the fitness space is confidence. Like, how do you have the confidence to pursue an idea? We've all got ideas, but you actually pursued it. You took action to make it happen. That's confidence. And to me, there wasn't any certification. There wasn't any any education or a video that I watched that helped me make that decision. That's an internal feeling that you can't explain. I can't tell you how it's going to make you feel. You just have to experience it. And we call it the enlightenment stage. When do you think that happened for you?
Oh, wow.
It doesn't have to be one pivotal moment.
I honestly just don't know. It's been a constant evolution. Like, I'm 100% a different person than I was 5 or 6 years ago.
In Oregon, you said this. You said, I was like, oh my God, that's a really powerful statement. You're like, ever since I found fitness, I just stopped giving a fuck. I'm like,
it's
I love
true.
that.
I have almost no secrets anymore, and I used to be a very, very private person. And I'm comfortable in my own skin. If I've got a few extra pounds on me, if I'm not, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still the same person. And I have the confidence to speak freely, to be open. I'll tell you almost anything you ask.
We should have had the conversations that we had before, all right? I won't go there.
I'll tell you almost anything that you ask me. But yeah, it's just a constant evolution. And I did have to do a lot of self-work on myself throughout this entire journey, where I would have to just sit with myself and deal with whatever was going on. But being able to sit with myself and be uncomfortable with myself,
skill.
And that's why I'm where I am now. Like, I'm enjoying life.
That's
amazing. And
how old are you?
44.
Dude, amazing. And to be this newfound person at 44 is so incredible.
Yeah.
Mad proud of you.
It's so amazing to feel
Goes
so
to show
comfortable.
it's never too late to evolve.
No, never.
And still evolving.
Yeah,
always.
Always.
Always
100%.
It's so cool. So cool. What about you, man?
I think I've touched on it. I lost my parents, had my boys, and got married all within about a year and a half. So my world was really flipped upside down, and finding myself through all of that, fitness played a large role. I just felt powerful. I started to feel like myself again, and it really helped me get, not saying that it's a replacement for therapy or anything like that, but it did help me. It helped me find empowerment and confidence in myself again. And then I wanted to give that to other people. I wanted to help other people find the same thing. It was a huge, huge part of my coming out of my darkness and my depression and growing and learning and facing tough shit. And once I got through all that, it was like, fuck, if I can get through all that, I can get through anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that could take me down at this point.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to give that back.
And I think that's like a catalyst, right? Amongst the most successful fitness professionals is that they've experienced it themselves so they can relate to what's going on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily understand what it's like to be in a place that you were at when you were so overweight that you didn't recognize your body. And maybe that's not that person that can relate to me or get on the same vibe and connect with me. But like, I have been in a very shitty place that it was like life or death, right? Like, and to understand that and experience that, it's going to be a lifelong passion for you, for me, for Paulo, for someone that has been on the other side, to never stop trying to give the person in front of you the same feeling that you gave yourself or fitness gave yourself. And that's the ultimate goal. It's like, it comes full circle. Like, if I know I'm able to do this in my life, I say I'm really black and white, which I know I am, anyone fucking can. Yeah. But it's a choice, and it's really hard, right? It's really hard to do this. Yeah. It's not an easy thing. You don't have someone that's going to tell you what to do. You got to be your own boss, set your own deadlines, and be disciplined. And all of those skills, I think, were taught to me through a workout and being an athlete and following a program and showing up when you had to and always getting the results. If you showed up and if you didn't, you wouldn't get the results. It was like, it's a recurring theme or formula that you can pick up from any space and put it into any place in your life, whether it's business, relationships, friends, the workouts, whatever it is. It's the same formula, man. It's like having an idea, devising a plan, and fucking executing. That's it. And it seems simple because it is, but the only secret is consistency.
Yeah.
And just like the training module, right? No one can get to the end because it's hard work.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start to see if this is for you, is this what I'm made of? And like, could I do this forever?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies, that was a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing. Is there anything else you want to share that maybe was on your mind that you didn't have a chance to say?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, I'm just happy to be here with you tonight.
Yeah, man. Me too. It's been
me
too
too.
long. It
It's
really
been
has.
too long.
Well, what do you got going on in your life right now, and where can these guys find you?
Sunrise Kettlebell Club, for one thing.
New logo. Dope.
Just got a new logo. We're official. I feel like that's like one of the biggest business decisions I've ever made is like, oh wait, you need a logo. But then actually following through with doing it.
Yep.
I've known for ages, but I'm super psyched about that. It makes me feel like I've actually come full circle now.
Awesome.
But yeah, Sunrise Kettlebell Club, there's an IG page for it, but most of it comes through myself. But anyway, anybody who comes to Sunrise Kettlebell Club is family, you know, and that's the biggest feedback that I've gotten from all my first timers. They're like, we feel like we've known everybody forever. And they're like, we're just coming once. And then they keep coming back and coming back.
And driving like
a
distance to get there at 6 a.m. It's 45-minute drive for you?
It's about 35 minutes from me.
And
but guys,
Isaac
it
comes
comes
to Miami.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, that's my happy place. I love it up there. But you can find me other places too.
And we'll put all the info in the show notes.
Yeah, you'll find me in Animal Flow workshops, assisting the master instructors.
Awesome.
And fun things like that.
Very cool.
And with my kiddo.
Don't get And what about you?
You can also find me on IG doing virtual and in-person private and semi-privates right now. That's kind of where it's at for me, all out of the home gym.
Congrats, by the way.
Thanks.
Beautiful home gym. Just got, keeping adding things to it, but it looks incredible.
It's like finally like a real gym
It
space,
looks awesome.
which is nice. So, keeping busy with that. And like she said, the kiddos. When I'm not in the home gym, I'm at Sunrise Kettlebell Club. So.
Yeah. How old are your boys?
8.5 as well. They're just a little bit younger than Dom.
Just 3 months.
They're about the same age. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, to wrap up, which I won't cry again, okay? I want to thank you guys, and I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you.
So proud of you for not only seeing your own vision, but prior to that, seeing our vision and sticking with us through some really hard times. So I love you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you both the best of luck.
Thank you.
And you guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.